Welcome, friends. Today, we are doing a very special unboxing and first impressions video. Scintillating. So, once again, friends, we are back with an unboxing and first impressions video, but this time is a little bit special. It's a little bit special. I have done a madness. I may have done two madnesses. I hope you will enjoy. I will introduce the fragrances and then I will tell you how I came to get them. So, first off, we have The Moon by Malle. Nice. And the second fragrance we have is The Night by Malle. Also nice. Now, you will be thinking to yourself, rightly, that that is a lot of money to spend on one fragrance. Two fragrances, you know? That's a lot of money to spend in general. But I will tell you the story of why now and why I have bought these fragrances. So, I've been thinking about, everybody's thought about buying like The Night and like The Moon and these sort of fragrances before. They are very expensive. That is true. But I was talking to a sales associate who works on the Malle counter, who I've spoke to for years, got a good relationship with them, and I mentioned The Night to her, and she was like, "Look, if you are serious, if you do ever want to buy a bottle of The Night, I'd give you some discount off it, you know." And I was like, "Well, that's good." And I thought about it, and I was like, because I mean, nobody wants to pay full retail, especially not when it's a fragrance like this. This is like the best part of £1,000, and this is over £500, or it is £500, something like that. So that's a lot of money. And she was like, "Look, I'll give you like discount." And I was thinking, well, she's obviously talking about like 10% off. And I thought, that's not really tempting, if I'm being perfectly honest. I'll see if I can find it cheaper elsewhere. I got talking to Eugene about it. And excuse me whilst I hydrate. And so I got talking to Eugene about it. And he sent me, a long time ago, he sent me a sample of The Night. So I've been able to sample it before. It was like a little 2ml sample, but it works out like, this must be like 20 quid. This little decant he made for us must have been like £20 because it was like 2 mils. That's like what it works out at per mil. And I was like, thank you. This was ages ago, but recently, like after I'd spoke to the sales associate, I'd spoke to Eugene, and Eugene sent us a couple of pictures of his bottles. And I was like, oh. I was like, your bottle has an older, thinner label on. They redesigned the bottles, or the label on the Desert Gems to make them thicker so they could fit the Arabic writing in, you see. The label on the bottles, when I unbox them, I'll show you, the label is thicker so they could put the proper print in so it would have like space. So I was like, well, is it going to be different? Because as a rule of thumb, and it's not like a hard rule, this, but as a rule of thumb, when they change the packaging, it's a fair assumption, and it's not always the case. But when they change the packaging, you can assume a reformulation. And I was like, ooh, Eugene sent me the one with the thinner label, and that's the one I like. I don't like changing of labels. I don't like change. I'm resistant. And so I went back into the shop and had a look, and they had a thicker label of the night. Obviously, the moon's never changed. The moon's always had a thicker label. And the night had, and I went in and I saw, lo and behold, in the little fridge that the Frederick Marles have, there was a bottle of the night with a thinner label. And I was like, ooh, that's when I started to get interested, because that is the sort of shit. I don't care what other people think about vintages and labels and stuff like that. It's my money, it's my collection, it's how I want to do it. So I thought, if I can get that thinner label version, right, I'm very interested. And then I'll see if I can get some discount as well, like some proper discount. Lo and behold, Wednesday this week, I got a message from another sales associate who works with the Frederick Marles sales associate. She's been on holiday for 2 weeks. She's back now, and she says they're overstocked on the night, and they're selling off a few fragrances that they're overstocked on at 20% off. I thought, score, brilliant. I thought, that's fantastic. Thinner label, 20% off. You're not going to get them cheaper. You're not going to get anything better. That is what I want. So I was like, look, can you go and ask her? I actually tried to get 30% off, but they weren't having it. I said, if I buy both of them, will you give us 30% off? They didn't. It was 20%. Anyway, I said, can you ask her to just like, I mean, I know it's a silly thing, but could you like ask her to put the night aside, the one with the thinner label? And they were like, well, the thinner label isn't there. And I was like, what are you talking about? And like, oh, there isn't a thinner label. The old presentation. She knew what I was talking about. She was like, yeah, the old presentation one, it's not there. It's not in the fridge. And I was like, fuck off. I was like, in between the time that I've been to the shop and identified this bottle of the night that I want, this specific one with the thinner label, and you coming back from holiday, someone's fucking bought it. And so there wasn't tears, but I mean, Christ, I was a bit like, oh God, I would have like prepared myself to buy it. Said to her like, oh look, I'm not so keen on the newer ones. She was like, we would always sell the older ones first anyway, because that's just like the thing. And I was like, no, well, obviously you would. Of course you would. Like, obviously somebody's been in and bought it. Anyway, I went into the shop to talk to them about it. Took in the zoologist sample set because they were intrigued by that. And we spent a good couple of hours on the Tom Ford counter, just like having a great time smelling zoologists. And then the last was like, we got talking about the Frederick Marles, and I was like, honestly, if I'm going to spend that kind of money, I want the one that I want. Like, it's like other people, it's not a problem, it's fine. But if I'm going to be spending that kind of money on a perfume, I want the specific one that I want. And I was like, I don't know whether it's worth it splashing out that kind of money, even if there has been a reformulation or if it's not the same, like anything, you know? And anyway, she got on the phone. Don't know who to, but she ended up finding out that they actually hadn't sold a bottle of the night. And I was like, oh. And she was like, oh. And I was like, well, it's either been nicked or it must be there somewhere. Long story short, basically went to the store cupboard, had a look and found the thinner label bottle. So everything fell into place in the end. Bit of a heart attack at the end there. Everything fell into place for me to spend this kind of money on these perfumes. I think I'm filming this on the 18th of June, Saturday. And I think I'm going to do No by July again this year. I did it last year. I think I'm going to do it this year. Yeah, I've bought a lot of perfumes this year, and I really did actually genuinely mean to lay off but I have bought a lot. So I think I am going to at least do no by July, and then maybe sort of like temper it back a little bit, you know? It's like shop the collection. I've got so much stuff to review and talk about on the channel, including these. So now I will unbox. Sorry if you don't like the unboxings. But here we go. We'll do the moon first. It's got the golden sheath because it is one of the desert gems, but inside it is just another Frederick Malle box. And there is the moon by Julien Rasquinet, one of my favourite perfumers, if not my favourite modern perfumer anyway. I'll put that back. Okay, so there is your Frederick Malle box. Ingredients, bit of information on the back. There's a picture of Julien Rasquinet there. We all like how they give credit to the perfumers at Frederick Malle, how it should be, frankly. And now we shall do the night. And then we will do first impressions. We will compare and contrast. I will show you what I mean by the thinner label. Now, there is no sort of evidence, really, that it's been reformulated. I'm sure it hasn't been. But Eugene mentioned that some people don't get the shittiness from the night, and there it is. As you can see, sorry, I don't know, whoops. A little bit clumsy, but there we are. Out you come. There we go. Eugene mentioned that some people don't get the shittiness from the oud, and he was wondering out loud if there'd been a reformulation, because he was like, Christ, that's all I get. It's like raspberry and hemorrhaging ox arse. Blue cheese hemorrhaging out the back of an ox. But anyway, needless to say, not something I have to worry about now. You can see there is the night. There is the moon. Focus. Screw you, don't focus then. So the one's got a much thinner label than the other. And we will do first impressions. I will be taking my first impression not from this bottle of the night, but from this decant of the night. Now, you may be wondering, well, that's not very good, is it? Why are you not doing your first impression from the bottle? The reason is that this is also a thinner label bottle. This is a decant I bought from Moudoussier off Base Notes. And he showed me his bottle and his label was thinner. I also discussed the nature of thinner labels with him. He said he didn't think there'd been a reformulation, and he knows what he's talking about, so. But I wanted the thinner label, by God, because that's the one I wanted. Anyway, we'll start with the moon, shall we? It's gonna fucking stink in here, isn't it? Batch code is AA9. Don't know what that means. I should really check. Only need priming once. And there is the moon. So, raspberry. Raspberry, but something dark lingering in the base. You can tell it's got an evil darkness to it, but there's a little bit of freshness. It's not a it's not like a citrus freshness. Maybe some tobacco in there as well. It's really nice. It's got a sort of, not a cleaner sort of vibe going to it, but it is clean. Oh, it's really nice. I'm not sure what the notes are. Let's have a look on the back. Does it say? No, I don't think it does. No, it doesn't. I'm definitely getting the raspberry. Definitely getting some tobacco. Something dark and dry about it. I don't know if you can hear that sheep. My next door neighbour owns a sheep. And it's giving it big licks this morning. It's really nice. Don't know if you can see that, but there's like a sheen. I'm almost certain you can't see that anyway. Don't have a good enough camera. And the night. Here we go. So this is from my decant. Oh, that is so shitty. It's blue cheese shitty. It's like, it's definitely got that vibe about it, you know? Like, the moon's much more pleasant on first blast. Let's go straight to the foul oud. Over fermented, water treated as well. Apparently, it's how they get the shittiness out. Makes it ferment a lot stronger. I shall read the blurb at the back for you. So for the night. For years, Dominic Ropion has been fascinated by the sense of sophisticated people from the Middle East to the point that he decided to study this extraordinary perfume culture and develop his own version of it. After numerous trips to the Gulf and months of development, the night is Dominic Ropion's first perfume for additions to Parfums Frederic Malle bearing this particular perfume language. The night describes the time when life takes a different meaning in this part of the world. This one word not only describes the moment when the temperatures become more bearable and where everything becomes more possible, but also alludes to love and to the constellation. Enough to make any perfumer dream. Although night bears an unusually large amount of natural oud, one should not see this lavish perfume simply as luxury oud, but as a contemporary perfumery master's love letter to the Middle East. Unmistakably oud. Massive shitty. There's also raspberry in this, I think, but it's not like, whoa. It's just got that foulness to it. Yuck. Anyway, so the moon. Celestial romance. The moon plays a leading role in conducting the rhythm of life in the Middle East, her ethereal appearance hailing the beginning and end of all festivity. Yet in Arabic, invoking the moon is also an allusion to romance. My moon, an adoringly grandiose term for one's beloved that speaks of beauty and eternal devotion. Exuding a warm, opulent quality, rose, oud, and frankincense meet a surprising abundance of ripe red berries. In subtle evocation of the fruit-flavoured shisha enjoyed across the region, the profusion of red currant and raspberry notes adds sweetness and colour. A potent new moon. Following a chance encounter with legendary Pierre Bourdon, Julien Rasquinet became the legendary perfumer's last disciple. 3 years of training by the master taught him his trade and helped him develop his poetic soul. Passionate about theatre, Julien Rasquinet is a natural storyteller. For him, composing a perfume is similar to writing a play in several acts, deeply empathetic. He likes to imagine what people wearing his creations experience. He spent 4 years in Dubai growing as a perfumer and creating magnificent contemporary Middle Eastern perfumes. Not massively like into the Middle Eastern style. You'll notice that in my collection. I don't have a lot of Middle Eastern perfumes. In fact, I think these might be the only ones that are like overtly Middle Eastern. Can't think of any. Oh, so the night opens with some straight up blue cheese out the back of an ox, and then that sort of goes away, like after it sort of like settles on the skin. Couple of minutes, it's fresher now, it's more pleasant, but there's a dark, slightly sickly foulness in the back. It is definitely beautiful and very well made. It's going to take some getting used to, and this bottle will last forever. Can't see myself wearing all of this, you know. Interesting. I'm going to try it during the autumn and winter, but this could be like a year-round perfume. If you can imagine, like, the Middle Eastern men and women wearing this in their heat. We should be able to wear it in our heat, you know. Also, I'm going to show you a couple of little freebies they gave us. I got loads of samples, and I also got these little travel bags, which apparently they don't give out anymore. But these little bags, you put your perfumes in and you can take them with you. I also, since the same lady who runs the Malle account runs the Killian account, I was also gifted this, which is a Killian decant, and I chose Black Phantom because I couldn't think of anything else. I quite liked Black Phantom, although, like, I'd want to live with this. Is like a 15-20 ml decant. That little jar thing's beautiful. I really like that. So I don't know how much it's worth or anything like that, but I'm not really bothered. I got loads of samples of loads of different things, so that was good. Frederick Malle stuff, though. I also got some Tom Ford samples, which were Bitter Peach, Rose Prick, Ombre Leather Parfum, and Rose de Sheen. But I also got a cheeky little dram of this, which is Rose de Russie, the lesser spotted Rose de Russie. Not allowed to sell that anymore. It's being discontinued as soon as it was released. Tom Ford must have been furious when they invaded the Ukraine. But there we are, you know. Anyway, got some samples to look forward to trying. You can expect to see these in rotations to come. I don't know when I'm going to start wearing them. In the south of England at the minute, there is a heat wave, but not in the north where I am. It's pretty overcast and grey out there and pretty average weather, if I'm being honest. I haven't got to burst out the really fresh stuff so far this year, so I think I'm just going to have to start wearing it. Just regardless of the weather, really, which I'm loath to do. I like to wear stuff in conjunction with the weather, but doesn't look like we're getting a summer this year. Anyway, this has been my long and slightly rambly unboxing of the two most expensive fragrances that I own. By far. I am going to be laying off a little bit soon, so I've got a couple of things in the post, which I'm looking forward to, and I'll unbox those, but I'm going to have to start doing like reviews and stuff like that again. I haven't done a proper review for ages. Anyway, thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I will see you again soon. Goodbye.